You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension with your host, Kerry Greenaway, right here on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening and welcome to the Spirit Dimension. My name is Kerry Greenaway, and as always on a Sunday I like to bring you an eclectic mix of topics and shows, and tonight is no different. And I've got an amazing guest in the studio. I love this lady to absolute pieces. Her name is MJ Dickson. Good evening, MJ. How are you?
Hi Kerry, I'm so good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really, really well, thank you. Now, well, we haven't had a chance to catch up because you've been so busy. And the last I spoke to you, you was just about to go and do your Paracruise, weren't you?
Yeah, it's that long ago already. My goodness. That was middle of May. That's the last time we were able to catch up.
I know. It just time flies, doesn't it?
Oh yes, I've been exceptionally busy working really, really hard behind the scenes on not only catching up over the last few weeks on everything that happened after the cruise, but, we kicked off 2019's cruise and it's just kicked off with a bang. So it's been a lot of organizing, a lot of, going over the tours and that sort of thing, getting it all in place. It's a lot to put together, but it is so worth it. And on top of that, the Paracon and doing some filming and all sorts of things. So yeah, really busy.
I know, this is how busy this lady is. It's so hard to catch up with her. And we're going to talk, first of all, we're going to look at this year's Paracruise that you did, because it looked awesome from all the photos and the live feed you did on Facebook. It looked awesome. Now, this was, this was back in May, but we want to give a good shout out to this. We want to give you a good understanding of exactly what you get when you do one of the Paracruises, because we're doing, MJ is doing another one next year. I'm hoping to be on the Paracruise, Well, we'll see what happens on that one. Anyway, so it kicked off on the 16th of May, didn't it?
Yes. We started off with 3 days in Venice, and to be honest, we had a lot of hiccups with this one in the beginning. Some of the hotels weren't organized properly by the tour operator that we had gone through. So, the last 2 weeks before the cruise, I was in absolute panic stations trying to make sure everything was okay, that, the accommodation, everything was set. And we had to book some self-catering villas. And they said they were on the Grand Canal and that sort of thing. But, when you look at a place online and you look at the photos, you always think, they're making this look much prettier than it actually is. Most of the time you get there and it's terrible, so I was really panicked about that. It was really, really stressful. And we got to this villa in Venice overlooking the Grand Canal, and we were absolutely blown away. I literally got lost in the villa.
Wow.
It took me 5 minutes to find my room. The place was so big, we kept walking around in circles. All of us kept getting lost in it. It was absolutely breathtaking. Turns out it was actually a millionaire's palace.
Wow.
I know, it was great. It was great. It was better than any hotel we could have ever expected.
Well, one thing's for sure, you do seem to find these amazing places and amazing locations. They do seem to come to you, don't they?
I do have some luck with that, apparently. But it was a really nice villa and had sort of a a little roof terrace overlooking the Grand Canal, right smack bang in the middle of Venice, right by the Rialto Bridge. So if anyone that knows Venice, Rialto Bridge is pretty much your most central point to the Rialto Market, St. Mark's Square, things within a few minutes walking distance. But I did learn a few things in Venice. If you ask a Venetian for directions and they say it's 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes as the crow flies, and they don't mean the 30 minutes that it takes to walk over 400 bridges to get there. Yes. So anyone that's never been to Venice, we were quite surprised, actually. Obviously, everything's water. We knew that. Mm-hmm. But what you don't realize, which you don't think of, which is, I mean, it's common sense, that in order to get over that water, it's all stairs and bridges. Yeah. So by the time we were done with 3 days, we had buns of steel. It was great.
Well, a good workout in Venice.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you'll get when you go on this Paracruise. A good workout to start off with.
Anyone that wants to come on the Paracruise, be prepared. We're going to make you exercise as well. But Venice was breathtaking. It was beyond gorgeous. It exceeded every expectation. From the historical point of view, some of the Venetian palaces and things were just stunning. And they say the best way to see it is by water. You can see a lot of it by foot, but because of the waterways, all the buildings were built with the most beautiful sides facing the water. Yeah. And so doing it by boat is just incredible. We had some really good food. We drank a lot of wine, not going to lie. We found out that Prosecco was cheaper than sparkling water, which was very dangerous. So
that sounds fantastic.
It's great. It is great. But it's very dangerous. But we had a great time. Venice, we did a bit of investigating. We did a few tours and things and sightseeing. Obviously, you want to see the area that you're in. You want to do the touristy things. But we did a Ghosts and Legends walking tour with the most fantastic guide, Elisabetta. And she made the whole tour really personal for us. So it was telling her ghost stories as well as the legends of Venice. So it was really nice. She'd had several different paranormal experiences, and she took us to the very places where it happened and explained what happened. But it was a really entertaining evening, probably one of my favorite tours of the entire trip. One of my things that I didn't think we would be able to do, however, the tour company that Elisabetta works for, their manageress, Laura, was just phenomenal. I have to give a shout out to her. She was incredible. And she managed to get us onto Poveglia Island.
Wow.
And for any paranormal investigator out there, Poveglia is a massive bucket list tick. Yeah. And it was very emotional. You watch the episodes of Ghost Adventures and that, and the other guys that have all been to Poveglia. And in the episode of Ghost Adventures, I remember when I was watching that, and Zach had apparently something tried to possess him on the island, and he got really aggressive and that sort of thing. And it's all like, yeah, it's TV. But it's a different story when you're actually standing on that ground. It's very oppressive. Extremely. I think several people in our group were so overwhelmed that they actually burst into tears. Your moods, you had to keep watching your mood, because you went from, oh my gosh, this is amazing, in absolute awe and really excited, to really, really angry really quickly, and you actually had to remove yourself from certain rooms. It was very intense, but definitely one of the most incredible places I've ever set foot on. And we're doing it again next year. We've managed to get the correct permissions and things again, which took about almost a year for us to get the permission to get onto Poveglia. So it's not, there's so many people that go, hey, we're going to Italy and we're going to go ghost hunting on Poveglia. It's not that easy. No. We had to phone the police commissioners, the mayor. It literally took us almost a year. But yeah, it was great. What else?
Talking about Poveglia, I want to stick to Poveglia a little bit because, like you say, it's a
Absolutely.
bucket list for so many people. It's an island.
It is. It was a hospital, and then they pretty much sent all of their plague victims to Poveglia Island. So anyone that looked unwell in the slightest, they were put on a gondola and ferried across. And that's where your plague doctors' masks come in, where they used to put all the herbs and things in the sort of nose area, if you will. Those creepy masks and things, and they would ferry them over to Poveglia and just dump them. And it's really sad. It is the sadness that you feel when you're walking around it's really, really overwhelming.
It is that atmospheric
emotion
the minute you step onto the island.
Definitely. It just feels, I don't know, it just feels dark. It feels eerie. It's a beautiful island, actually. I mean, the greenery and everything, the building is obviously derelict and quite creepy in itself, but the island itself is quite pretty. Greenery and that, but you just don't feel it. I had to step away a few times and just go and sit down and regroup. It was very overwhelming.
It must be really hard to ground yourself on an island like that.
I mean, gosh, yes. Majority of the island is said to be made up of human ash as well.
Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth Coa is actually in the chat room, and she has said 160,000 people died on Poveglia, and 25% of the grounds is ashes from the deceased. So trying to ground yourself in that kind of environment must be incredibly hard. Yeah,
definitely. And then again, there were certain rooms that we went into that there were certain areas that some of us walked in and you literally turn around and walk straight back out. You're like, nope, can't do that. No ways. Yeah. It's just a bit too much. But
just out of curiosity, how was your spirit team while you were there?
Very on guard. It's funny because my gatekeeper, Imalk, I barely ever see him. He only really steps in when things are really nasty, when it's a bit hairy, he'll step up. And from the moment the boat pulled up to the side of the island, he was there in full force. And it was constantly like, protect yourself, get ready. It was constant warnings the whole way through. We did a bit of an EVP session, and whilst we were doing it, we didn't really think that we were going to spend as much time on the island as we did. So, and with all the excitement, we just decided we were going to do some EVP on our phones, and that's using a phone recorder, see what happened. And we were stood there, but everything kept dying. Every piece of technology that we touched, everything, all the batteries just drained constantly within moments. So we weren't really able to do all that much on the island other than just exploring it and taking some photos. And again, taking photos, we went through so many battery packs, recharging phones and things, trying to at least get a few photos out of the place. It's definitely a scary place.
Yeah.
But I am super excited to go back. We've actually been given the option to camp overnight.
Oh, wow. Would you want to? Just out of curiosity, on a personal basis, would you want to? I know you would want to from your investigator side, but from your personal side.
Investigating overnight would be just, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I can't even think how much time, you would be able to spend within that building. Problem is, it is falling apart. On a health and safety side, it is probably one of the more dangerous places we've ever been. So, I don't know. And that was during the day. We were there for a few hours over the afternoon, broad daylight. And it was quite intense having to watch your every step. You're not sure if the roof is going to cave in or, you can't walk on any stairs going up to the second levels at all. It's really dangerous. So my thing is on a health and safety side, I'd prefer not to. And also just, the few hours that I spent on that island, it was, like I say, my team on the other side were constantly like, protect yourself, ground yourself, do this, do that. They were so on guard. And I did actually hear a voice that creeped me out thoroughly.
Right.
It was a male voice that said, "Come here, my child."
Ooh.
Which, yeah, that was just creepy. And I believe that it may have been the doctor himself, because the doctor who ran the insane asylum, he started experimenting on the patients, doing all sorts of botch experiments and lobotomies and all sorts of things. And apparently, as the story goes, he was haunted by the souls of his patients that he experimented on, and they drove him insane, and he eventually jumped out of the bell tower and committed suicide. So not the nicest place at all. So I don't know about spending a whole night, because, you know, if you wanted to escape and just step away, you can't. Yeah, you're stuck on the island, and that's it. So I think it would be just a little bit too intense, especially, you know, the crowd that we have coming on the cruise so far. Yeah, I've got to be very mindful of their spiritual protection and health and safety. Yeah. So if it was a really experienced team of people and you were going there specifically for that reason, just to do Pavelia, and you had all the gear and everything that you needed, then sure, a small team, 3 or 4 people, fine, I'd spend the night.
Yeah.
But not taking a group of, you know, like 15 people on. It's too much responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility, isn't it? I just want to give a shout out to the chat room, because we've got loads of people in the chat room tonight.
Hi, everybody.
We've got Elizabeth Coa, we've got Sam Mason, Gary Bradfield's in there, Sylvia Grinham, Ian Varro, Carl Hutchinson are in there tonight. So
hi, guys.
Now, I know Elizabeth went with you on the cruise, didn't she?
Yes, she did. So she can chip in from the chat room anytime she wants.
Filling in the details we might be missing.
Oh, yeah.
So from Italy, you then moved on to Greece.
Well, whilst we were in Venice, we actually also got the opportunity to investigate a Venetian palace.
Oh, wow.
So it was really, really cool. So the palace holds an exhibit called Venice Secrets. And at the moment, the exhibit that they have on is a crime and punishment one. So it's all like the torture devices. And it's these actual devices. I mean, there's some that date back centuries, you know, like where they used to spike and impale witches. They've got the actual spikes and things. They've got the torture chairs. They've got all sorts of things. It is incredible. It is a massive exhibit. It takes you at least a couple of hours to get through it. But the palace itself was where Casanova hid away whilst everyone was looking for him. So it's got all the letters that Casanova wrote. It's got some of his clothing. It's really fascinating, and a lot of the pieces hold so much energy. So we did a bit of a investigation, and Elizabeth actually had some really interesting experiences. During the night, she was scratched really badly on her arm, and a while later, she also felt as though somebody was trying to kiss her. Ooh. So, you know, and a few other people had some really strange experiences, feelings of being touched, poked at, fingers running through your hair. And it was really nice because we had one of the guys who works in this exhibit, Matteo. We had him translating everything into Italian for us and then translating everything back to English for us. So it was really cool to have somebody do that.
Yeah, brilliant.
The investigation was nice. It was fun. Not quite what we expected, I don't think, but definitely interesting.
Sounds like Casanova may well have been there with you.
Well, some few strange things followed after that, and Elizabeth ended up with somebody giving her a bunch of free red roses and all sorts of things. So,
wow.
And it was really strange. It was sort of on the walk back from the palace to the villa that we were staying in. It was just very, very strange how everything played out. But we went from there, we got on the cruise, and our very first stop was Bari, Italy. A lot of people, Bari we kind of left for everybody to explore on their own. Venice was really full on, so, you know, a lot of people wanted to stay on the ship and get to know the boat. They wanted to read, relax, lounge by the pool with a cocktail, and others wanted to get off the boat and go and explore the town. So they did sort of like there's a little train that goes all the way through town, takes you to basilicas, all the cathedrals and things. So, you know, the group was pretty free to do whatever they wanted in Barry. But from there we went to Greece, and that's where things got a bit emotional for me because my family's Greek. And it was all the memories flooding back of my dad and all of that. So it was really, really nice. But I absolutely loved, we did 3 different stops in Greece. We did Katakolon, which is Olympia, where the very first Olympic Games took place. So we actually went to the place where the very first Olympic Games were held, and it's where they still light the Olympic torch.
Yeah.
And it was really beautiful out there. There's a little museum. There's the actual Olympic track. So I know a lot of people got to cross that off their bucket list.
Yeah.
Running a 100-meter sprint on the Olympic track.
Yeah.
Not that any
It's
of
got to
us
be
actually
done.
did 100
That
meters.
has to be done, to be fair.
And then we did Mykonos, which is known as the Windy Island for a reason.
Yep.
But it was breathtakingly beautiful. And we had a lovely traditional Greek meal in this beautiful taverna on the beach. And we all just kind of spent some time sitting on the beach, watching the water. So that was pretty chilled. And Athens, we went to the Acropolis. And we also went to the Acropolis Museum. Yeah. So that was interesting. Anyone that's ever been to the Acropolis will tell you it's a bit of a trek.
It is a big trek up that hill.
Oh, yeah?
I have done Greece. I love Greece. It's a personal favourite of mine, and I can highly recommend anybody go to Greece. And these places are definitely bucket list places. Most definitely. It is a trek up to the Acropolis, but it is fantastic. So worth it.
So, you know, we try to keep a lot of the tours on the cruise doing sort of the normal touristy sightseeing things, but then having a bit of a paranormal twist on some of the things, and, you know, doing the ghost stories on board and that sort of stuff as well. So next year we will be doing a lot more of the ghosty stuff, a bit less of the touristy stuff. So anyone that's interested in joining us, you know, we do have 9 different tours that you do, as well as investigating and Poveglia Island. It includes all of your food on board. And this was probably a mistake, but it worked really well. But we had unlimited drinks on board as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So
it gets very hot, though, doesn't it? So, yeah, you know, keep your water levels up too.
Well, I mean, you know, it didn't help that the water might have had some cherries and vodka and, you know, cherry liqueur and all of that in there. But we were well hydrated, shall I say.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, that doesn't end. We don't end with Greece, do we? We go on.
We do. We went from... Gosh, now I've got to remember. We went from Greece to Saranda, Albania, to probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. We went to the Blue-Eyed Spring. So anyone listening to this, do yourself a favor. Google Saranda, Albania, Blue-Eyed Spring. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's a natural spring. The legend is that a dragon kidnapped the only daughter of a farmer, and he went to go and get her back and slayed the dragon, and the Blue-Eyed Spring is actually the dragon's eye. When they say blue, the different shades of turquoise to dark blue to these beautiful greens and things, it's just stunning. But they don't really know how deep it is. They said they've gone down about 100 meters or so, and they've never really reached the bottom of it, so no one really knows. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. We went from there to one of the castles, had a look around the castle with the most amazing views. I'm going to be posting some photos. I haven't even posted all of them. and some video footage as soon as I get a breather to put the video together for everyone to have a look at. If you're thinking of joining us, everything will be in that video. Well, maybe not everything, because there were some Cards Against Humanity that went
maybe not
very, very bad.
Elizabeth has just said fairies. What's she referring to there?
Oh, gosh. I've got a mind blank now. Elizabeth, what are you referring to, other than the 20 million dragonflies that are around the Blue-Eyed Spring?
She might be talking about that. Well, we'll have to wait until she updates us in the chat room as to what she's referring to on that.
You know what? We had so many things going on. I was actually just sitting talking to my husband, and I went, do you know, I know it's not that long ago, but we did so much that I can't remember the order everything was in. There was just so many different things going on and so much to see and do. We went from there to Dubrovnik, Croatia. Now, this, you know, I really wanted to do more of the paranormal side here. However, majority of our guests on the Paranormal Cruise were the biggest Game of Thrones fans. So yes, we did a Game of Thrones tour. We visited King's Landing, stood on the top, and this is going to sound terrible because I have never watched Game of Thrones. I know. So everybody was absolutely geeking out about, you know, we went to each and every spot where it was filmed, and this guide that we had was absolutely fantastic. He was showing us all the photographs of the actual filming and how they did the sets, telling us the stories. It was, I mean, even for somebody that didn't watch Game of Thrones, that knew nothing about it, it was a very entertaining tour.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to see how they did things, the behind-the-scenes production side of it. It was really fascinating. But I can tell you now, Elizabeth and Duncan and a few others were literally walking around with the biggest, cheesiest grins on their faces the whole way.
Yeah,
they were like kids in a candy store.
They've said this in the chat room. Like, they're like, what? Oh my God, I can't believe you haven't watched Game of Thrones for a start.
I know.
And Elizabeth, it was so freaking awesome.
Yeah, we got to sit on the throne and all of that as well. So, yeah, apparently that's like a really big thing for Game of Thrones fans.
I can imagine it is. Yeah, it is an awesome series. I will say that, ladies. So, oh my God, there's like something for everybody, isn't there, on the cruise?
Literally, we try to do that. We try to cater for everyone, cover some of the spooky things. But the last thing you want is for everything to be paranormal. You know, you do want to do some of the normal sightseeing in that as well. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to make sure there was a bit of a balance of all of it. Another thing that was a really difficult task was planning all of these things in different countries from England. You know, sitting here and going, okay, I'm really hoping this is a good tour. Please be a good tour. So it was very much a trial run, the first one. So a big shout out to everybody that supported us and came along. It was so much fun. And, you know, I learned a lot of things. I've had a look at what tours are worth it. And you know what? Some of them are just not really worth it, which we figured out while we were there. You know, we kind of veered away from, for instance, a gondola ride is about 80 euros for half an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And while it sounds amazing that you're in Venice doing a gondola ride, there's so many other things that are way cooler.
Yeah.
That I'd rather have the group do. Again, I do try and give people free time to make their own decisions. You know, they're not compulsory. You don't have to join in. But we're going to try and do a bit more of a balance next year and chuck in a bit more paranormal.
That is the one thing I do say about you, is that you, if you do an event, you always are looking at reinventing it to make it better, to make it different from what you've done before. Yeah. So, and that's what I love about you. So although the cruise is the same places next year, it isn't going to be the same cruise you get that you had this year, because MJ will evolve it and, you know, think that wasn't worth it, we'll add something different in and make it a whole different experience, even though you're visiting the same sort of places. Now, the cruise for 2019 is already available to book, isn't it?
It's selling out really quickly, which is great. So everybody that's booked on next year's cruise already, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And I am really looking forward to hanging out with everyone. But we do have a few more cabins left. I believe we have one balcony cabin left. I'm trying to, because we go through a tour operator who puts this together for us, I'm actually in the process of trying to switch over a few of our inside cabins to have more of the balcony cabins available. It is a small group. So for anyone that's thinking that, it's 40, 50, 60 people, we're not. It's a very small group. It's a lot of fun. These are still the trial runs for me. Perhaps in the future we'll do something with a slightly bigger group, but I don't have a whole team, as you know, that I work with. It's just me. Mm-hmm. My amazing husband was an absolute darling on the last cruise. He did so much, and I have to say thank you to him as well, because I would never been able to have done everything without his help, especially with putting things together and that. So next year will be different. It is filling up really quickly. It's the 8th to the 18th. So 10 nights, 11 days. And it's good fun. There's a lot going on. So if anyone wants to join us, you can just drop me an email. It's mj@sageparanormal.co.uk.
And you can contact MJ through her website or through Facebook.
Absolutely.
So you've got several ways you can contact MJ. That's in May, by the way, next year.
Yes, it is. May 8th to the 18th. We also do a really easy payment plan for people that want to maybe split it up over several payments. It is a big holiday. It does include a lot. So if it helps, if you want to join us and it helps you to break it up over a few payments, we're completely flexible with that. So we'll be happy to help out.
There's really no reason why you can't. If you wanted to join the cruise, it's absolutely awesome. As we've given you a sound bite, basically, of what actually happened on that cruise. So watch out on the Sage Paranormal
Sage Paranormal
page for the video that MJ is at some point going to get time to do.
Hopefully. I'm really, really trying. It's been ages. I'm actually still editing the investigation that we did at the palace. I'm busy trying to put that together at the minute. They actually want to take it to the Italian press. They've invited us back next year if we wanted to investigate the palace again. However, the exhibit will be changing. So next year's exhibit, as far as I know, is going to be all about famous serial killers. Ooh. So it'll have all of the weapons, all of the cases, all of that sort of thing. So, those hold a decent amount of energy as well. So it should be a very interesting investigation.
Fantastic. Sounds brilliant. So, guys, that's where you need to be if you want to look at the videos that are going to be coming up very, very soon. Now, as I said right at the top of the show, MJ is one of the busiest people I've ever met in my life. And bearing in mind, the cruise was only in May, and it's now we're actually only had time to do the show.
No, I'm so sorry. It has been a bit chaotic. I have been involved behind the scenes, helping out on some television production. I have been trying to put the Paracon together. The Sage Paracruise kicked off with such a bang. I've been trying to edit videos, get all the photos together. It's been manic. It really has. And then, for those who don't know, I actually have 2 day jobs as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sucker for punishment.
Now, another thing that you've done recently, I want to talk to you about, is you've just done a Leamington Spa Festival, haven't you?
Oh, the Peace Festival.
Yes.
It was the 40th anniversary, so 40 years. That's incredible. The Peace Festival's lovely. It's my first time that I've ever had a stall there, but it was really fun despite the weather being a bit gloomy. It's a vegetarian, vegan, poetry, music, stalls, loads of stuff for kids to do, very family friendly. And it's every year, I think it's the second week of June every year. It's in Leamington Spa. It's a free festival with great live music. They have fantastic bands and things playing over the weekend. So it was really nice. We had a Sage Paranormal stall up there promoting the Paracon, and selling all the Witchworks products and things. It was good fun. It was a very busy weekend, non-stop running around, but got to meet some amazing people. Got to actually meet some members of the Sage tribe that are joining us at the Paracon this year, but I've not yet met them face to face, so it was really nice. So shout out to all the new Sage tribe members.
Brilliant. It looked like a lovely weekend that you had there. Was it busy?
It was. It was actually, I was really worried. I was thinking the weather was looking quite grim, but no, it didn't hold people back. It was really busy.
Good.
Very, very good weekend.
And
every year it's free.
And I know that the lovely Claire Hinks, I know she can't join us tonight. She's actually away with her mum, which is why she's not on the show tonight with us. But I know she came along and visited you, didn't she?
She did. We had Claire staying at my house with my resident ghost for the weekend, and her amazing little girl, Phoebe. So I have a new friend for life. Phoebe's adorable. But yeah, so Claire got to experience Jenkins firsthand. Anyone who knows a little bit about my Facebook rants about my haunting in my house, my resident ghost Jenkins. He's very active. He's a very strong presence. He's lovely, but he does take a bit of getting used to. And I did warn Claire, between all the haunted objects in my house and Jenkins, she's going to have an absolute field day here, and she really did. She had a few interesting experiences.
I've yet to catch up with Claire myself. Again, another busy lady. So she's away, which is the only reason she's not on the show tonight. So big shout out. Hi, Claire, because we're missing you, actually, on the spirit dimension.
We are.
Okay, so that was a fantastic weekend for you. And you sell... You sell your witch wax, don't you? Witchy wax, lotions and potions that you make.
Indeed. So we do, well, I say we do. I do all sorts of different room sprays, which are for different things. So some of them are for cleansing your house. There'll be sage and frankincense and that sort of thing. Others are to get rid of depression and anxiety, or help you sleep better, to help you focus more. So yeah, just depending on what sort of thing you're after, I can whip up a bit of a tincture for you. And we also have some, this year, for this festival, I did some really strong cleansing bags. Mm-hmm. So they had Palo Santo, holy wood, different blends of sage, and a bunch of other stuff in there. Really, really strong cleansing bags for your home. All sorts of products, really. Crystal jewelry. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
And you do a coffee?
I do afterlife coffee, and it's called the afterlife coffee because it can pretty much wake the dead. It's very, very strong. It's every paranormal investigator's dream blend of coffee. Don't suggest having a cup before you go to bed.
Basically. Yeah, don't drink it at night. So you should come with a warning, actually. Now, all
really
of these products...
Well, it is called the Deadly Blend.
Now, all of your products are still on your Etsy, aren't they?
I do have them on my Etsy at the moment. I'm busy putting a few other things on there, and I will post the links to that within the Sage Paracon and Sage Paranormal pages. However, I am kind of hanging on to a lot of it at the moment because I'm doing another convention in Wales in August, where I'm one of the guest speakers. So I'll be selling all the products at the stall.
Fantastic. Ooh. Right, so let's talk about Sage Paracon. Any updated views? I was going to say, so where are we at with Sage Paracon? Because that is creeping up on us fast now.
I know, it really is. Right, so I am going to start releasing all the stall information. We won't have many stalls there. We'll have all of our speakers that will be there doing, signing their books and have their merchandise there, as we did last year. But we are also throwing in a couple of other stalls, some tarot readings and that sort of thing. So we'll start releasing those. We also have some really good friends of mine, Human Canvas Tattoo Shop. So anyone who's thinking of getting a nice little Paracon tattoo, they will have their mobile studio there. And they are one of the best studios I've come across in this area in quite some time. So a big shout out to Human Canvas, who are going to be there. You can book in with them. I'm going to be putting their details on our website and that soon. So you can have them draw up your artwork and all of that beforehand, have a look at all of their work, and book an appointment to have some creepy tattoo done at the Paracon. So it's a bit different.
That's very different.
Like you said, always changing.
Always evolving.
Always evolving, always bringing in new things.
And we're still waiting for a couple of guest speakers to be announced, aren't we?
We really are. And I do have to apologize for the wait, and I feel like I need to explain. So one of our speakers, unfortunately, had a death in the family, so I have not been able to go any further with that. So we will be sorting out the last couple of speakers over the next few weeks. I thought it was only respectful to give everyone a bit of time and so on. But yes, we will have our next 2 speakers announced, shall I say the last 2, all of our stalls. But I do have one announcement tonight.
Ooh, I love an announcement. Go on, announce away.
Okay, so this is only at the moment currently available for iPhone on the Apple App Store, but you can now download the Sage Paracon app. And if you go on your App Store, type in Paranormal Convention, you will see the app pop up. It should be the only one that pops up if you type in Paranormal Convention, because I think we're the only paranormal convention that has one. And you can download that. There is still a slight glitch, and we are working on it. We'll be sorting this out in the next week or 2. But it's a free app. You can download it straight away, and it'll ask you to sign up. And it may come up with a 403 error saying that it hasn't been able to register you. But just check your email, because it should send you an email saying that you are actually signed up for it if that error pops up. That will be changed. We are sorting it out. However, you can still get into the app. So if that error pops up, just sign in as normal, and it'll take a moment to load, and you've got absolutely all the information you could ever wish for about the Sage Paracon, all in the palm of your hand. We will be adding behind-the-scenes interviews, exclusive videos, that all the exclusive content will be available to our ticket holders. And it explains all the different ticket packages we have, the hotel, everything you need to know is in there. So go on, take out your iPhones, and download the Sage Paracon app. Any questions, you can just email me or message me on Facebook.
Yep. So again, guys, don't forget, Sage Paracon app. It's an app on your phone to keep up to date with everything that's happening. So get it.
Yes.
Go get it.
But you're only going to find it if you type in Paranormal Convention. It should come up if you say. Do you know what, I did.
No, I checked it earlier, and it did.
Oh, good.
Paranormal Convention, you get the Sage symbol.
It does come up.
That. Yeah, it does. It's there. I know this. That's as far as I got, because my son then went, "It's my phone."
Oh, no.
I was like, yes, and I'm paying for it. Give it back. No, you're actually being a guest speaker at a few conventions yourself this year, aren't you?
I am indeed. I'm going to be... Ooh, where do we start? In Wales at the Fear Paracon. And I believe that's around the 11th of August at Markham Castle. Thereabout. And I'm going to be... From there, I head to... I've got to think about this. I'm going to be attending. I'm not a speaker at... But I will be attending Michigan Paracon, and I am super excited about it. They have an amazing lineup. So I go from Michigan Paracon to where am I? To Texas. I'm going to Texas. I will be in Texas after that. From Texas, I head to Las Vegas. That's a bit of a personal trip. It's for my wedding.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people in the paranormal field that'll be attending our 10-year anniversary vow renewal wedding. But we're going to be visiting Zach Bagan's Haunted Museum and a bunch of other things while we're there.
Yeah.
From there, I go to Kentucky. So I'll be speaking at CryptidCon, which is looking amazing. I've never really gone into Bigfoot and all sorts of cryptids and that. So it's going to be really different and really fascinating for me. to see all the other lectures. I, on the other hand, am covering some cryptids that people have probably never heard of. Some very different ones.
Give us a spoiler.
Well, they are Southern African.
Ooh.
So I don't think, everyone always covers Nessie and the Yeti and, all those sort of things, the more common ones, Mothman and all of that. But I don't think people have really touched on Southern African cryptids all that much. And we have some really interesting ones. I say we because I'm born in Zimbabwe and raised in South Africa. So, it's all those myths and legends are very normal to me. And I never really clicked. I always thought they were just normal stories until you get more into the cryptid scene. I was like, oh, hey, hang on a second. Yeah. Like, I can talk about those things.
And again, bringing something completely different to the field as well, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely.
And this is another little thing you like to do.
Oh, yes. I like to be different.
You do, which is one of the reasons why we love you so much. I do know there's quite a few of your, like you said, on the paranormal field, there's quite a lot of your friends going. I know Carl Hutchinson's going. I know that Elizabeth is going. Sam is going, isn't she?
Yes, she's going. Do you know what? We sort of made the mistake of, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but we could say we made the mistake of going, hey, we're having a paranormal wedding. Join us. And now I have no idea how many people are coming. We could have 10, we could have 200. Who knows?
That's going to make you so much fun. It's going to be so exciting
God,
when you actually get there and see who's actually there with you. I just think that's one big party, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah. There's got to be karaoke at some point.
I would say that's definitely going to be a taken over karaoke bar, I feel.
I most certainly think there is.
Now, we're running out of time and we've still got so much yet to cover. You are now under Creepy People Management.
Yes. So Creepy People was put together by Lee and Jennifer Kirkland, as well as a gentleman by the name of Jeff Waldridge. And I believe Nick Groff has some input there as well. So they have me on their register of all their wonderfully other talented people. That made me sound like I was talking about myself then. I mean, all the other wonderful, talented people that they have. I feel like the baby of the group. They've got some really big names signed on with them, like Robert Murch, Katrina Weidman, some really, really talented people in the industry that have really pushed the field forward and they have a lot of information to share. So, I've been booked for a bunch of different events. It's really nice. So a big shout out to Creepy People Talent Management. And if anyone wants to get in touch with them, if you want me at one of your events, it'd be really, really nice. But yeah, you can get in touch with Creepy People Talent and just, I think, Google them. The website will come up.
Yeah,
it's the easiest way.
It certainly does, and it is, like you say, peppered with people from the big names, from the people of the paranormal, which means, MJ, that you kind of stepped up into the realms of being one of the big names in the paranormal field, love.
Well, no, I'm still a baby. I'm finding my footing, shall I say.
Oh, I don't know. I think you are one of the big names. But UK, on the UK front, you are one of the big names.
That's just because I talk a lot.
Oh, you're so humble. I love you. Now, let's talk about your book club, because you've launched, we talked about this briefly before, when you was on before. We talked about the book club, and it was something that was going to happen, and has happened now. The first 2 books have been released as to what we need to read to be part of the book club, haven't they? What books are they? So
I chose the book that probably helped me with my psychic development in the beginning, when I was a bit lost and all these weird things were happening and I didn't know who to turn to and where to find decent information. So it's a really nice beginner's guide to psychic development, and that is a book by John Edward called Infinite Quest. And it really made me have a few aha moments where, things really clicked. And then the second book, I decided to go with more of the investigating side of things. and it's by the absolutely wonderful friend of mine, Greg Lawson, who's actually officiating my wedding. So Greg wrote the book called Detecting Paranormal, and for those who don't know Greg, he was a homicide detective for a very, very long time, and he sort of teaches you how to take what a homicide detective's point of view, like their techniques for doing an investigation or, looking at cold case files and that sort of thing, and applying it to investigating the paranormal. So it is a very different way of looking at it. And, again, reading that, you have some real aha moments at things that you're like, why didn't I think of that? Mm-hmm. But it is a great place to start if you want to get into either your psychic development or understand more about it, even if you're not sensitive, and then again something on the investigating side. So with the book club, anybody can join in. All you need to do is get those 2 books. We're going to give it a couple of more weeks because life gets in the way, and people take their time to read a few chapters. There's no rush. We've got a couple of months. And yeah, over the next sort of 2-3 weeks, we'll start doing little live video discussions on the books and seeing what people think, having a bit of chat, answering any questions, and it's for everybody to join in. So if there's a question that's asked and I can't answer it, anyone else that's there that maybe, understood something a bit better than I did or whatever the case may be, everybody needs to get involved. And it's all about building a base of knowledge. Mm-hmm. You need to have a good foundation in order to move forward. So I want people reading more. I want people researching more. I'm tired of the black T-shirt syndrome. Yes. I watch the paranormal shows and I grab a K2 meter and put on a tight black shirt and now I'm an investigator. Well, no, you're not. You need to learn the dangers, the what ifs, the who, how, where. Try experiments. Learn from people that have been there and they've got great advice to give, and they've written these books for that reason. So it's for everybody to join in. And each book club that we do will be doing one focusing on spiritual, one focusing on investigating. So yeah, if you want to join in, just go on the Sage Paranormal page on Facebook. I'll be putting those books up on our website as well. And join in the fun. It's just a nice bit of, I don't know, just something nice to do other than just investigating. It's broadening it a bit more.
Yeah, it's broadening your knowledge base on the investigation side as well as the spiritual
Absolutely.
side. And that's, like you said, that is so, so important
yes.
to do. And these people, they might be big names, but what you can learn from them are absolutely astonishing. They've been in the field a long time. That's why they wrote these books. Talking of
exactly.
writing books, how are yours going?
Oh, well, I had to put it on hold for the last few weeks. I am still plottering away. I'm getting there. I actually thought that I might take a few excerpts out of the book and put them up as a blog and just see what people thought of them. So I might be releasing a few of those things pretty soon on our websites and Facebook pages and that sort of thing. But I do need to get my A into G, I know. And I have to finish writing them, but it will happen soon. I've put pretty much the whole month of July aside for that. So, yes. I shall be writing loads.
Yes, you've had a month of June that's been absolutely crazy manic. And
oh, yes.
You've said, right, now July is, I'm going to sit down, refocus and start tying up loose ends on things, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just, it's been so busy and so manic that I just haven't had a chance to really tie up those loose ends. There's a lot of emails waiting. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. A lot of emails still waiting in my inbox. A lot of requests for different articles to be involved in different things. But at the moment, it's just a little overwhelming. But, like I say, July, I'm putting time aside for writing, get that out of the way. And then I do have a house move in between. But middle of August, I head off to America for a month. That's another convention I'm doing, is Hunting the Haunted Paracon in New Hampshire. And that's the 14th or 15th of September, I believe. I will post all of the posters for the conventions on the Sage Paranormal page. So if you're listening to this from America, come and join us at one of those events.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Well, or if you're in the UK and fancy a trip over to America, you can go to one of these conventions with MJ.
Absolutely.
Now, one thing I do want to touch on is Southcart Books.
Mm-hmm.
You're hugely involved with that. They've struggled, haven't they?
Yes.
This year. They had a shop. They had to shut the shop down. But they are still on eBay. And they are... they specialise in horror, paranormal, comics, all that kind of thing, don't they?
Yes. Yes, they do. They do always stock quite a few of the paranormal and spiritual side. So, and we need more independent bookshops. So a very big shout out to Southcart Books. They've done amazing. They've actually opened a second shop. So, yeah, they're doing really well. Thank you guys, everybody who has supported them. But please, let's continue to support them. So you can go online, find Southcart Books. They are on eBay. And they have an amazing selection. I mean, they've got some of the rarest books out there. So definitely have a browse, have a look at them.
Very much so. And although they've struggled, they've not gone under. They're still selling. They're still working, still providing amazing books for people. So definitely, if you want a book in the paranormal, please check out Southcart Books, because independents struggle so hard. It's bad enough for the big companies in the retail world, shall we say, at this moment in time. But Southcart Books are an independent bookshop, and they specialise in the types of books that we all want. So if you're going to buy
occult,
a book...
paranormal.
If you're going to buy a book, please go check them out. They're on Facebook, they're on eBay as well, and MJ is a huge supporter for Southcart Books, and I think that's absolutely awesome. I really do. And I know you know Scott really well, don't you, and his wife? I can't remember his wife's name.
Amy.
Yeah, and you've done some events with them before as well, haven't you?
I have indeed, and I hope to do some in the future. Again, it's just we're so busy, and I do want to add more events, but as I say, if I keep adding more, I'm just not going to have time to finish my book or wrap up any loose ends. So I think for the rest of this year, I'm just going to tone it down a bit. And then next year, I will be adding in more investigations, more smaller events, more sort of book club type things as well for people to get involved with. But for the time being, I'm wrapping up all those loose ends.
I do not blame you at all. We are actually coming to the end of the show. I think we covered everything. Just about.
Just about.
So, guys, if you want the cruise, go to the Facebook page or go to the website. I've shared all the links for all of the places and things we've spoken about into the chat room tonight. So if you're interested in that, get in touch with MJ and you'll find out more information if you check out the websites and stuff. Don't forget, we will be keeping in contact with MJ as well. So if you can't get in contact with her, get in contact with me and I'll pass the message along when she's around.
I am around, I promise. I'm terrible. I read messages and then I forget to respond. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you do? I think I thought I'd responded. I had in my head, but I hadn't actually physically done it. That's usually where I go with that one.
Yeah, that is my problem. I read it and then I think of how I'm going to respond. Then I get distracted and then I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't send it. Yeah. So I do apologize. I will respond, I promise.
She'll get there, as always saying. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, I will be going live on the Parasearch Radio group page to give you a rundown of all the up-and-coming shows for the week on Parasearch Radio. We've got another full, amazing week of shows looking at the lineup on my pad right now. But you'll have to join the live on the Parasearch Radio group page tomorrow, around about 5 o'clock, I reckon. That's about the time I'm going to go live. If you miss any of the shows, go over to Parasearch Radio on YouTube. You'll find all of them over on there. And don't forget to subscribe. Click, like, share, and subscribe. I love saying that. Okay, I've been nagged endlessly by Ashley on that one. Don't forget to say that bit. We have a competition ourselves on the Parasearch Radio group page on Facebook. If you'd like a reading with the lovely Bear Medicine Walker, she's actually going to be on one of the shows this week. But if you want a reading from her, join the competition. All you have to do is make sure you're a member of the Parasearch Radio group page and put your name on there, and you'll go into the draw that's going to be happening on Thursday evening when she's live on the show. on that note, thank you so much for joining me, MJ. It's been fantastic catching up with you.
Oh, it's been great to catch up with you. And thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in. And I hope to hear from you. If you guys want to drop me a message, drop me an email. Again, any of the Sage Paracon or Sage Paranormal pages, I will definitely respond. But thank you so much, Kerry.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. We'll be catching up with you very, very soon again on Parasearch Radio. On that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to finish with a couple of jingles because I always forget to do this, but I always forget to take a break. I get so involved and forget to take a break. So first of all, I want to give you a little bit of Aaron Sega, and then we'll end the show. Good night, everybody, and thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Hey there, friends and fiends. I am TV host and journalist Aaron Sagers from Paranormal Pop Culture, and you are listening to Parasearch Radio with your host, Kerry. Join us at Coombe Abbey Hotel from the 8th to 11th, November 2018 at the Sage Paracon for a VIP weekend of all things paranormal. Tickets are on sale now at www.sageparacon.co.uk. Tickets are limited, so do not miss out. Get yours today, and I mean right now, right this second. I will wait for you to get them, and then I will see you there.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension on Parasearch Radio UK with your host, Kerry.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.